Welcome to Power Conversations. I'm your host, Councilmember O.D. Harris. This month, we are talking about Black history, and we have some very special guests. Let's get right into it. We're here this month talking to Miss Sascha. Miss Juneteenth, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. So how does it feel? You have the crown. Now it's time for you to walk the walk and talk the walk. How do you feel?
Um, I feel good. The crown is really cool. So is the sash, and it's really nice, like being able to use my title as Juneteenth to go do different community events and stuff and talk to people. So it's been really neat.
So how have your friends been, in terms of their reaction, embracing you? Are they excited for you? What are you feeling?
Well, my friends are funny. So some of them, they'll actually my track coach, what he did is when he found out, he'd go like this and do the pageant wave every time he sees me. But a lot of them they've been really supportive. They poke fun sometimes, but it's all like in good humor. They've been cool about it.
So tell me, what does Black History Month means to you?
Honestly, Black History Month, it I like it because it puts Black history on the forefront. Like it's in like it's I don't know the word. It's just right there. Like it makes it prevalent, makes it known. This is a month where
Exactly.
we get to celebrate Black history, and all attention is drawn to it. And everyone can in that month they have the opportunity to learn about Black history, learn about Black culture and Black heritage. And it's nice to have this month where we get to celebrate the achievements that Black people have made in this country and just almost just celebrate our culture as a community. So it's really
Yeah,
nice.
it is pretty awesome to also celebrate the successes
Yes.
of what African Americans have achieved and people of color have achieved in this country. And it is super exciting. So let me ask you this. How do you believe your platform, how do you use your platform to celebrate Black History Month? How are you using it to celebrate Black History Month?
So my platform is, well, you know this, but it is getting more diversity within politics, specifically focusing on getting young people in politics, young Black women in
Mhm.
political spaces. And I think it celebrates Black history because our ancestors and the people who came before us, they were trailblazers. They did so many amazing things and so many amazing achievements. They fought for us to have rights. They fought for us to have a seat at the table. And now encouraging young Black women to get into those it celebrates Black history because you're encouraging young Black women to get into those spaces and almost just be in there and be in those spaces that they're allowed to be in because their ancestors fought so hard for them to be in it. So
Do
I
you
think it
find yourself like in school? Do you find yourself starting to point out like, hey, we can do better in this. We can do better with diversity. Hey, there's
yeah.
something. How you think? Are you starting
So
to feel that way?
my school, I actually started a multicultural coalition
Okay.
because we didn't have anything celebrating because I go to Basis Mesa, so it
Okay.
is extremely it's diverse in a sense. It's very we have a lot of children from different cultures there, but we don't ever celebrate that. We never talk about all of the diversity we have at Basis. So the Multicultural Coalition is hoping we're doing different events and just raising awareness about different holidays specific to different cultures. So we're doing a Dia de los Muertos posters, and we're just showcasing different events. So when Black History Month rolls around, I'm excited because we're going to be doing some stuff for that too.
So let me ask you something. Can you share any personal experiences that has had an impact on your understanding and your appreciation on Black History Month?
Okay, I went on an HBCU tour
Okay.
I think 3 weeks ago, and I think that experience really made me appreciate just being Black. I know that's a thing, but I went on this tour, and it was amazing because I was surrounded by people who looked like me. I felt comfortable. I didn't feel like I had to I wasn't the token Black girl in that space. It wasn't anything where I felt like I was being specifically singled out, or I didn't feel uncomfortable. I was there, I made friends. It was really cool, and it was
Mhm.
cool going to these universities where they're historically Black universities, and it
Yes.
was cool seeing all the students there and the faculty there and the environment around it. We went to one of the schools, and there
Mhm.
was a DJ on campus, and everyone was dancing, and they were all laughing, and the environment was it was almost it reminded me of when you have those family gatherings. It reminded me of that. So So it was really cool.
Y'all was doing the step. Y'all was doing a fan reunion.
I can't really dance, so they were
What?
doing
You
that.
can't dance? Oh Lord.
Yeah,
That's
we're
okay.
working on
We
it.
work. It's okay. It could be. It's a work in progress. It's all
Yes,
good.
my dancing career is
Yeah.
it's getting there.
Let me ask you, do you have any piece of advice that you would share with women or young girls as it pertains to your platform?
I would say, like, don't get in your head, first of all. Like, if you have an idea and you want to do something, go out and do it. Don't spend time like over analyzing the situation and being like, should I do it? Should I not? Maybe people already did this. Like, just do it immediately. Like, don't even think, just do it. And on top of that, like, don't be scared. You're able to go into those spaces and get what you want done. Like, you can make that happen. So just, I would say, do it. Like this pageant,
Mm.
I didn't think this was something I would ever do, but I did it, and it was a wonderful experience. I learned like a lot, and it was really neat because if I hadn't had made that choice to do something outside of my comfort zone, I never would have, well, been here
Right.
talking to you. And yeah, so
Well, yeah, you've been making great hits and great strides. How has it been holding the crown and being actually being a leader, being in the forefront of your peers? How has that been?
it's strange. Like the crown and everything that comes with it, I feel like when I put it on, I'm like, okay, like I feel almost not responsibility, but I have to make sure I'm like portraying myself in a way where I'm like, I am Miss Juneteenth and I want to represent that well.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit intimidating, but I really do like it. It's really nice just being Miss Juneteenth because I like getting to tell other people about Juneteenth. When they see the sash, they're like, Juneteenth, what's that? And it's the perfectly way to just explain the holiday because not a lot of people know, and then explaining the history behind it and explaining what's happening like right now and how they can support just the holiday itself or support the Black community. So
Yeah. Tell me about a time in your life where you really felt like, if I was to give someone a piece of advice when you were low in spirit and when you felt like giving up, can you give us a piece of advice that you would tell to those students or young people that may be discouraged or may not feel like they're where they're supposed to be? What kind of piece of inspiration you can give to a young person that may feel low in spirit?
I don't know if I have an inspirational quote, but I would just the world is discouraging right now. Like if you watch the news, there's a lot happening, and I can understand how like as a young person you may feel like, what about my future? Like the world it appears sometimes to be like going up in flames, and you're just like, well, where do I fit in all of this? But I would say like don't let even though the world's discouraging, like don't let it discourage you. Like never I don't know, like just don't let what's happening around you dissuade you from wanting to do what you would like to do. Like
Yeah.
if you want to start something, do it. I keep saying this because like if people got involved and if people did like what they're passionate about and they went out there and actually like made an active effort to influence or change the world, like our world would be so different. So I just encourage everybody to just do it. Like oh wait, I don't want to take that from Nike. Scratch, just just go out there and be your unapologetic self and go ahead and make that change. Like why not?
So, Miss Juneteenth, anything exciting coming up that you want to talk to us about or share with us?
Yes, I'm actually planning, well, created an event called Teen Gauge, which is a teen summit for political engagement. It will be happening April 6th of 2024, so this year, and it's from 9 to 4 p.m. and it's basically a summit where we are encouraging youth to get involved in politics, learn about it, learn how they can make a difference in our world. And it's going to be really neat because they're going to be able to see how politics works at a local level and see how they can influence their government and like just their community as a whole and kind of empower them to get involved and make that change. So April 6th, look out for Teen Gauge.
Well, I'm looking forward. I'm definitely going to be attending Teen Gauge. So I'm expecting everyone from the City of Chandler to make sure you engage and make sure that you follow the link below so that way you can learn how to get engaged and get involved as early and as young as Miss Juneteenth. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
More Power Conversation celebrating Black History Month coming up next. Welcome back to Power Conversations. I am here with the man, attorney Benjamin Taylor, the first African American to be the president in its 90-year history. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you,
Uh,
Councilman Harris, for having me.
Thank you for being here. How was your trip down?
It was nice.
It's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was always nice to come out to the city of Chandler.
Thank you so much. And we treating you well?
Yes, you always treat me
Yes.
well. Yeah, no, I was here, for the Jazz Fest a few months ago when you
Okay.
had that. It was a beautiful time, so it was good. Now, the city is definitely growing from back in the day till now. So I always appreciate everything you're doing for the city and everything that you're helping the city grow.
Thank you so much. Now you were a busy person. You're an attorney.
Mm.
And so can you tell us about your journey of becoming an attorney in the state of Arizona?
Yes. So undergrad I was a finance major at Arizona State University. So I always thought I was gonna be like on Wall Street, doing the Wall Street in New York. But I did some financial jobs, and it was good. But I always wanted to really be out and helping people in a deeper way. I mean, the finance industry, of course, you help people in their finances, but I wanted to actually like help people like in their legal lives. So that's why I went to law school. Decided to go to the University of Arizona in Tucson, and then came back up here to Phoenix to practice law. And we mainly do personal injury when people get hurt or injured to represent victims of injuries. We do criminal defense if people get wrongfully accused, and we do civil rights work. So those are our main three that we do.
So tell me, how does one become the president of the state bar? How does that happen?
It's funny because practicing, I've been practicing for over 18 years now. And when I first started practicing, I had no idea
You
that
don't look like you've been practicing anything for 18 years. Come on, man.
Yeah, time flies, time flies. I'm trying to take care of myself, drink a lot of water,
I got it.
eat healthy. But no, so basically you're elected by judges and you're elected by attorneys in your area, just kind of like a city council person. And then they elected me. So while I was elected, I got reelected, and then eventually the board elevates you to like treasurer, vice president, president elect, and then here I am as president. So the first African American president.
Wow.
Yeah, in 90-year history of our state bar of Arizona.
And how does that feel? Like it's got to be like so surreal. Like are you I mean like how are you processing and everything?
It is. I mean, it's so surreal. A lot of people have been giving me a lot of congratulations, which I appreciate, and it's just like hopefully I'm not the last, right? I'm the first, but hopefully I'm not the last. But I really want to represent the bar, represent attorneys and judges, and help them out. One of our goals is wellness. Being a lawyer is very stressful, and we have a lot of wellness initiatives going on right now to help attorneys be able to balance their work-life balance, their family, and their work, because unfortunately, a lot of them have substance abuse issues. A lot of them have different issues that are affecting their practice. So in order to be a better attorney, you have to be a better person. So we're doing a lot of wellness initiatives.
Throughout the time, you're an African American lawyer. You made history, and we're talking about Black History Month, so you're definitely in the history books. Like check. Um, do you have a checklist of things that you want to accomplish? As it pertains to your life here in Arizona that you have not crossed off your checklist yet?
I just want to, keep a good reputation, right? Being a good attorney, working hard for our state bar, making sure that other attorneys are lifted up. And that way, at the end of the day, when they say, Attorney Benjamin Taylor, he lived a good life. He was ethical. He had integrity, and he was a great attorney.
Do you think that like individuals, every culture learns different, every culture has to go through different trauma. They go through traumatic experiences
Mm-hmm.
and trauma. Like, being an attorney, being an African American attorney and seeing that there's other attorneys that may look like you that's now seeing themselves, hey, I can be this area. What piece of advice do you give those young attorneys, those that's striving to be where you are right now?
Kind of going back to wellness. I mean, you have to have a balance in your life. I mean, you want to work hard, you want to do good work for your clients, but if you're not happy at your house, your work's going to suffer.
Yeah.
So you always have to have balance, because being a lawyer is a very stressful job. You have demands from your clients, you have demands from judges, and you want to do a good job. So I always tell people, do a good job, work, but definitely have that balance. Go work out, eat healthy, just have a good life and good living, and then that would actually help your practice as attorney when you do that.
So what's the impacts on African American attorneys? What have you seen? What are some of the data points? Are African American attorneys getting the same level of clientele that others that may not be African American? Are you seeing inequities as it pertains to that particular area of you know clientels and things like that and African American representation?
I think people are willing to hire more African American attorneys from all different backgrounds. I mean, if we look at our client list, we have a rainbow of different colors in our client list.
Hmm.
But I would say maybe younger attorneys who are starting out the practice, it's a little bit harder for them because they're brand new. But since we've been out here for, like I said, 18 years, people, fortunately know what we've done. They've seen the results that we've gotten. No matter, me being African American or what color or race you are, they see that Benjamin Taylor does a good work. I'm going to hire him because I wanted an attorney who could go in that courtroom and win the case.
Yeah, so you think and the most important thing is just focusing on the work. So as an African American attorney, focus on the work,
Yes,
do the job, and let people see your good works and your results. That's what's gonna get you. That's what's gonna drive the clientele in.
exactly. Yeah, no. I mean, winning solves everything. If you, I don't care who you are, what gender, what race, what religion you are. If you can win a case and you do good work, I mean, the word will get around the community, and people will hear that, and people will start referring other people's cases. And at the end of the day, when people spend their hard-earned money and they hire an attorney, at the end of the day they want a good result, and they're going to go for the best attorney no matter what race they are. So when we've seen that experience, we get all types of clients because we have gotten good results for our clients.
So do you feel like that, in terms of like the particular law that you decide to practice, is there a specific reason why you chose those particular areas to practice law or to build your firm in that direction?
I always tell people I feel like I practice people's law
Okay.
because we help the people.
Mhm.
There's transactional law. People do a lot of contracts. There's and people work in house, and they're all great fields. But most of our law we're working with people. When you do a personal injury, somebody's gotten hurt in a car accident, they get hurt, slip and fall. So we're working with them. Somebody's been arrested. Somebody has been discriminated against in their employer. Right. We're working with people. So I enjoy that because you get to represent and talk to people. You get to learn about people and their feelings. You realize no matter what race you are, no matter who you are, we all want the same thing. we all want good things for our children. We want good schools. We want good food on the table. We want a safe place to live. So no matter what race I represent, I realize that at the end of the day, we all want the same thing.
Yeah. We want to win.
Yes.
We want a victory. I want to ask you something. African American attorneys in the state of Arizona, what's the stat? Do you know any stats around that? Do we have a great representation of African Americans? Do African American attorneys feel that they're not getting the same opportunities? Is there any stat that shows that kind of shows that there's an unlevel parallel, or do you find that people are more focused on their work and trying to it's not about what your background is about what type of services you're going to provide?
I think a little bit of both, right? Of
Okay.
course. I mean, there's still racism out there. There's still prejudice out there. That I think that will be here for a long time, right? But I think I've realized that just talking to my fellow attorneys, we are growing. African American attorneys are growing because more people are going to law school. More people are practicing law, and people want to win. That's the bottom line. A client, it's almost like a sports team, right? I mean, you're going to go for your sports team, right? I mean, when people pick an attorney, they look at reviews, they do research, they do background. So no matter what race you are, if that attorney, whoever it is, has a bad reputation, they're not going to get hired, right? So looking at sticking with a good reputation, doing good work. In the day, I think, of course, we're trying to. That's one of my initiatives to get more people on the bench, judges, get more people in the legal community because we have a diverse legal community. We have a better legal community,
Okay.
and that's good because the public wants to be able to go in the courtroom and see a judge that is reflective of what the community looks like.
Yeah. And how do you go about what is the state bar doing in order to identify these individuals that you want to see in that judge role? What are some of the is that a do they apply for that? Like,
hmm
if break it down in dummy terms so
Okay,
people
yeah. So
understand.
we have, I mean, just like a lot of cities have a leadership programs, we have what you call a bar leadership program,
Okay.
which actually looks for attorneys. They can apply to begin this program. They get mentored. They get mentored in different areas of the law. And one of the areas that they get mentored is how to become a judge. And we have judges who come and speak and say, if you want to become a judge, this is the way you apply. This is the application process. This is what you should have in your application. This is what you shouldn't have in your application. So a lot of times mentorship, because that's a good question, because who would know how to become a judge, right?
Yeah.
Unless somebody were to sit down with you, a fellow judge or a fellow people who have done it before. And that's what we strive to do, is strive to make sure that if you want to become whatever attorney, whatever judge, there's an opportunity to at least listen and learn and how to do the application.
And when you talk about being a judge and they go through that process, they go get mentored, then it's about relationships at that point. It's just learning where do I go? Who do I need to talk to?
hmm
How do I apply? So at that point, it's just relationships at that point once you kind of go through the leadership part
Yes, I
of it.
mean, there's a process when people apply for a judge. There's an application process. There's always a panel. There's an interview panel. And in the day, depending on what judge you want, if you want a Superior Court judge or Supreme Court judge, that's the governor.
Okay.
City court judges,
Yeah.
that's city council members, right?
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's you, right? So and that's why we need the diversity council. That's why we need diverse that, because that helps with various judges, because most of my clients, they just want a fair shake. I mean, when they go in the courtroom, they want to make sure no matter who's sitting on that bench, they're going to get a fair shake.
Do you feel like most of the judges, is pretty fair in Arizona? They try to get, do you think that they're trying to get there or trying to be as fair as possible?
Yeah, I think because some states have elections,
Okay.
right, where people run for a judge, and our state's mostly appointment. Application
Okay.
process. The governor, city council appoints them, and I think the process is fair because you have people who are vetting them.
Mm.
So when you have a chance to vet, sometimes people get upset because they weren't picked, right? But they have a chance to apply again. And eventually, I've seen that people who keep applying, keep trying and trying, even though they weren't picked the first time,
Mhm.
eventually they do get picked, and then they are on the bench.
Well, let me ask you this. What piece of advice would you leave with our viewers, those that are watching this now? What piece of advice would you leave with them?
A piece of advice I would leave with them is just get involved, right? No matter what your field, whatever your area is, stay involved, volunteer for the city. If you're out here in Chandler, show up to a city council meeting. Show up to the city library.
Yeah, we want to see you at the council meetings.
There's people I see sometimes complain, right?
Yeah.
But like I always tell people to get involved, right? No matter if you're an attorney, city council person, get involved, right? So as long as you get involved, you can make the world better, and you can change the city that you live in.
You've been involved in some pretty high profile cases. And I know you probably have had that gut in your stomach, like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to win this case.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to turn out. Any piece of advice for people who may be experiencing that or going through that area, or any case you want to share that you kind of just like felt?
Yeah, and it goes back to like mental wellness, right? I mean, there's so much pressure on people to win, right? And people realize, and clients want you to win too. But you have to kind of step back and be realistic. Some cases you're going to win, and we do win a lot of cases, thank goodness. But there's some cases you lose. This is natural, right? But I would just tell people this. No matter what, you have to keep fighting, right? You learn a lot from the cases that you do lose, right? By talking to the juries, by interviewing the jury members, and they let you know, hey, you could have done this better. This is the reason why we didn't vote for your client, because of X, Y, and Z. So I always just tell people, learn from your losses, and then that way, any loss or any mistake that you made, you can be better, and makes you a better attorney.
Yeah, I think that's great, because I've experienced so many L's in my life. I'm just thankful that I'm getting more W's than L's.
Yes, yeah. No, you are getting more W. And that's the thing, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
And here you are today.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think I've pulled together an interesting journey in my life.
Yes.
I kind of feel like that, being on council and understanding how the judge, because it kind of, City council doesn't necessarily, the city judge works kind of a little bit different.
Hmm.
Even though we hire the city judge,
Yes.
but the Supreme Court is like their boss.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
just more so managing conduct and making sure that they're doing everything
Hmm.
good. But it's quite interesting, the difference. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So, but I think that too. I found that our judges, they're fair when they're doing their job and they're moving at the best of their ability, which goes back to mental health.
Yes, exactly. I mean, anytime a judge is sitting on the bench, they want to make the right decision, and that's a stressful job. And I've pro tem in the past before, and when you have two people in the courtroom and you have to choose, and you realize that no matter what decision you make, somebody's not going to be happy with that decision. So it's a big job. It's a lot of stress, and that's why judges need wellness too, and they need mental health work also. That way, because they see people are not going to be happy, and then I'm sure they get threats too. So
Yeah.
well, mental health and lawyers, mental health and judges, mental health and everybody.
Yeah.
I'm really a big proponent on that.
Yeah. Well, mental health, mental health. Well, thank you so much, Attorney Benjamin Taylor, for coming here and spending some time with us down here in the city of Chandler. Thank you so much for tuning in to Power Conversations this month as we celebrate Black History Month. We recognize the power and the accomplishments that many African Americans that you've heard today on this show has accomplished. We're going to continue this month celebrating these achievements. Again, make sure you share this conversation with one of your friends, one of your family members, and let them know that Power Conversations is off the chain with Councilmember O.D. Harris. Thank you so much for tuning in.